Welcome to the channel for the first time viewers. Welcome back from my existing subscribers. Today I want to compare two of my experiences. One of them with the Asus TUF RX 6900 XT, and the second one is going to be with the MSI Gaming X Trio, right? So the 3080. Those are both my cards. I have an Intel build that has the 3080 in it, so it's got a 10900K and a 3080, and then I have an AMD build that has the Asus TUF along with the Ryzen 7 5800X, which is like impossible to cool. That thing is like insane. Like I get better temps on my 10900K, which is kind of nuts. But anyways, since I'm on this page, let me tell you what I like about this card specifically. If you're in the market for a new card, price wise, let me show you, because I don't think they showed a price here, but this is 1404. That's how much I was able to snag it for on Newegg. The best way to get cards right now is through stock drops. That's literally the only way I've been able to even see cards. The higher end cards are easier to get, so 3090s. And then if you were to get a 6800 XT, it's a taller ask, but you could actually pick up 6900 XTs for like $100 more. And there's a specific one from ASRock that's been popping up almost every day. So when this got released into my into Discord, it was like every couple hours they would say Asus TUF Gaming available, Asus TUF Gaming, and if you clicked on it, it'd be gone within like 30 seconds. But I was able to just hit Apple Pay and snag one. I love it. It's fantastic. Let me show you the ASRock real quick, and then we'll carry on. So this one here, it's out of stock a lot, but like I said, this comes in quite frequently. Power color is probably what I would end up buying, just personally. But you also have the XFX Speedster, right? This one you can find at Best Buy as well. But for these prices, I think it's pretty fair. So the regular retail has gone up $100. It used to be $1,000. So with an AIB card or a partner card, you're looking at like 13, 14. Which is like, okay, cool. But when you switch over to the Nvidia side of things, those things are hella expensive. So this is, I don't know why this listing is still here. But it's $699 is where it started. The Gaming X used to be $770. Yeah, it was $769 when it first came out. But now I paid $11 back in November for it. And that was a scalped one. So this one here is $11 MSRP. So that's why I have eBay up over here to show kind of what some of these are selling for. So this person has sold 34, selling for $19.99. As you can see here, $1,800, 27 bids for a EVGA one. It's kind of nuts, man. It's kind of nuts. So these cards have officially spiraled out of control as far as pricing. And I think people are finally starting to just be like, fuck it, I'm just going to pay whatever the cost is. It's to that point where even if you had the money and you were tight back in September, it's been like 5 months. So you heard about this in September, it came out, wasn't available. And then, October went through, November went through, December, January, and now we're halfway through February. So at this point, people have had X amount of months to save up extra money. So I think people are just ready to kind of pull the trigger and go, right? But let me tell you, if you got that money to spend, which one I would recommend. Let's head back over. I'll talk about the Asus first, right? Just got that one. It's way better in games like Assassin's Creed, and a little bit better in Rainbow Six. Now, remember, I have a 10900K in one system, which is a different CPU, so it's not the same scenario, right? But I'm just trying to give you my overall experience. It's been pretty solid with this card. I would definitely recommend you not trust the measurements, because I was in an NZXT H510. Looked all over the internet. There's nothing that says, like, the specifications say it should fit even with the front radiator on. It was supposed to have 4mm. This thing didn't even go inside of the case. Now, granted, 4mm is a tight fit, but I was like, okay, well, maybe I can make it, just fit in there. But it definitely didn't fit in there. So I went out and got another Corsair D400, or no, 4000D Airflow. And it fits in there perfectly fine. Everything's good to go. The build quality is phenomenal on this card. It felt like this card cost $1,400, right? And it's like my second really good AMD card. because ever since the RTX 3000 series came out, I've kind of looked at the Asus TUF a little differently versus the way I used to look at them. Last generation, I was like, oh, that's the budget brand, or that's like the rigid, they cut corners brand. And that was just my perception. It might not be true. That's just what I thought. But this card, like the 3000 series was like really, it was keeping temperatures cool. The performance was really good. And I was like, okay, well, it looks like that's the best RTX 3080 you can buy. But obviously, beggars can't be choosers because these cards aren't like readily available for you to just choose whatever. That's why that ASRock might make a lot of sense for some people. You just click on it, buy it, or that XFX Merc. I would spend the money on one of these cards over an RTX 3080 if I had to do it again, right? So if I only could get one and I was trying to hunt one down, this 6900 XT actually comes in stock, bro. Like, you can actually get it, and it's pretty frequent. Just get into stock drops, log in on Twitter, and then turn on the notifications there, and then go in the Discord and just have Apple Pay or Google Pay ready, so that when you click on the Newegg app, it just automatically lets you buy it. That's the only way to get through and not have to worry about that, because it just pulls all your payment information and processes it right there, instead of you going to enter this and enter that, and those 30 seconds is already gone. Besides the point, another reason I would get that is Radeon image sharpening, which I have open down here. Now, this is fantastic. I love this. You can drop down the render resolution on some games to like 85, 90%, and this kind of makes up the loss, right? But for me, I wear glasses, and an advantage of the Nvidia cards is actually also a disadvantage. I'll get to that. So you're not going to get DLSS performance by just dropping the render resolution, but you are going to get more frames. And with Radeon image sharpening, you're actually going to be able to bring it back and get some of those that FPS loss, right? You'll get some of that back by dropping the render resolution, and you get that quality back. It still won't look the same as just if you had it on 100% render resolution and then turn this on, which is currently how I'm running it, because it's a really powerful card. So my expectations are like, I have them like average expectations, but this exceeds them by far. So one thing I will add is this card is horrendous at ray tracing, and it's straight trash. Like, if you're comparing it to the RTX 3080. So that is kind of where we'll close with the AMD card, right? The value is good if you're just doing competitive games and you want to play at 1440p like me, or 1080p. This thing is a beast. I would get it. And it's actually available and easy to find. So you just have to have your payment set to either PayPal, just something quick. It needs to be a one-click done and buy. Otherwise, you won't get through the process before either bots or other users that do have that type of stuff set up can get it, right? So what I will say about this card, now that we're talking about the RTX 3080, it looks sharp. It's a nice looking card, and it looks fantastic in the case. But the build quality, when I took it out the case, it's huge. Both of them are fairly large cards, but it was weird. It didn't really. It has like that carbonite finish, so it's a weird material. It's kind of plastic. Maybe they call it graphite. It's not graphite. I can't remember what they call the material on the back, but it's pretty much plastic. It reminds me of it's the RTX 2060 Super. I can't remember the one with the twin frozers. Anyways, that one. It reminded me of that as far as the way the back felt, and it just wasn't. It didn't feel that premium to me. Now, what I will say is that because this is an Nvidia card, the drivers are better than the AMD, even though Relive has come a long way and it works a lot better than they used to. The drivers on this card are just leaps and bounds better. And on top of that, you have access to DLSS, and the ray tracing is way better. So with those three things, you don't have to worry about too many games stuttering. Like on AMD, there's still games that I have to go through and kind of tweak some of the settings in them, which I feel like you shouldn't have to. Like in Black Ops, you got to go through and change the CPU render count on both systems. Actually, I had to switch that to make it match the actual amount of physical cores, and then the GPU limit or the VRAM limit, right? So otherwise, my AMD card will stutter, but my Nvidia cards, they usually don't have that issue. So usually the drivers just kind of take care of the game and you just play. So it's like the pick up and play option. It's also much harder to find, right? So as you saw on the eBay listing, I mean they're selling anywhere from $1,500 to $1,900, right? And that's if you're getting a good deal. The retail price is now $1,100, which is insane because that's, like I said, that's what I paid for the scalped one back in the day. Now, if you play games that require ray tracing, an RTX card might be better. Maybe not this particular one, but an RTX card might be better for you. This does ray tracing very well. Like I can play Cyberpunk 2077 with RTX on because Nvidia has DLSS. If they didn't have DLSS, it would just literally get destroyed by the AMD card. But because it has DLSS, it's literally punching way above its weight. So playing games like Black Ops Cold War, I'm getting a lot more frames. I'm getting about 230, 240 with DLSS on performance mode versus, just regular rasterization or regular frames. Well, if you're not that techie, my regular frame rate on the AMD card, and both with RTX off, is about 200, and it goes up to like 230, 240 sometimes. But the default on the 3080 card is typically about 230, 240. So, and that's because of DLSS. And yeah, I mean, the main thing is that this is going to be almost impossible to find. And on top of that, if you do get your hands on one of these types of cards, they have better software support. And that's going to be your biggest thing. The software support, the DLSS. If you're a streamer, the encoding is like 3 times better than the AMD card. So you kind of have to figure out what you want to get this card for, right? But if it's not available, then it doesn't matter. It could have all the features in the world, but if you can never buy it, or if if you're trying to buy it at a reasonable price, which this is at this point at $1,400, it's kind of a tough sell at the $1,400. And this is just after having accepted that it's probably not going to be $770 again like it was at launch for a long time. Like it'll probably be when the next generation of RTX cards come out that this goes back to retail. It reminds me of the 2080 Ti's. They were supposed to be $1,000, but when you could really only find the Founders Edition for $1,100 every once in a while, and the partner cards were all, I think the cheapest partner card was $1,250, and it was terrible. So really, they were like $1,300 for the partners cards. So I think this is more or less what we're looking at now. But when you put that together, that's essentially where the RTX, or not the RTX, the RX 6900 series has kind of gone. They don't have a price here, but this was $1,404. MSRP is $1,000. So also, I think they're not as popular, which is also leaning to why they're more available as the Nvidia cards. So if I had to go back and choose just one, I would definitely choose the AMD card. It has some issues, some kinks, but because I'm somewhat techie, I'm not like the biggest tech in the world. Like I can't fix everything. I don't understand everything about the cards and how they work and the boards, but I know enough to be dangerous and I know how to tinker, right? So I would get something like this Power Color, or if I could find a stock version. I just don't know enough about the ASRock to say yeah, but the price is nice. I had an XFX before. So this one seems to be pretty good as far as the cooling from what videos I've seen. That's what I would be gearing more towards. And again, it's because it's more available. In most games, you're a cut above the 3080 when you're not doing ray tracing, right? And from what I've seen, there's some games that ray tracing makes a big difference, and there's others that it's like the smallest difference in the world, and just you might as well save your money, right? DLSS is huge, which we're hoping that AMD drops some kind of DLSS competitor. They mentioned it briefly on stage when they announced these cards, but that was kind of it. So hopefully they bring out something. But yeah, if you decide to go with the same one as me, the Asus TUF, and you find it, like I said, this one here has been popping up almost on the regular with stock drops. So they've been dropping this one a lot. If you get an Asus TUF, make sure to fit in your case. I would say account for like 14 inches, bro. So don't, like it says it's 13 inches, account for like 14, because it was supposed to fit in mine. And if I didn't have the radiator, it may have just fit. Like it might have just fit by a little bit, but the radiator literally wouldn't let it into the case. So it would have gone with no radiator pretty much straight up to the edge of the fans. But yeah, that's all I got, man. It's an interesting time we're in. Cards are not available. I mean, you see, what is, I don't even know what this is. 5500 XT for $1,000. That's a lie. You know, people are just, I think people just put these things out here hoping somebody doesn't know what they're clicking on, and they just say, oh, that must be the new one, it's $1,000. But yeah, that's what I would be going for, man, because like I said, it's available and the performance is fantastic, and Radeon image sharpening is one of my favorite features on any graphics card, period. Now what you would want to watch out for is, if you're a streamer, like I streamed on Twitch using 6900 XT. It looked like shit. Like it looked all super grainy. Let me do 1440p, but it looked like shit. So I'll probably never stream on that card again, or I'll try to use something like OBS. I use the Radeon software, and yeah, that's all I got, man. So hopefully this video helps you make your decision. If I could only choose one, I would go with the AMD 6900 XT. I wouldn't even really mess with the 6800 XT because the pricing is close enough. Like I'll show you real quick before I end the video. Here's like the Asus Tough ones. This is the 6800 XT version of it. So $989. I think this is the OC. No, that's actually 6800 XT. So $1,000 versus 1404, which is about what the gap between the stock version of the 6800 XT and the 6900, where it was 650 versus what was it? 650 versus 1,000. So overall, grab one of these AMD cards. They're pretty available right now. Hopefully it stays that way and they start filling the gap. And check on AMD's website. I haven't seen the ability to just, grab these cards on there. I've seen it available through stock drops a couple of times, but I was more focused on trying to get this. So I want the 5900X, but I couldn't find it. I went to go buy it, took too long, and I had to go downstairs, get my wallet, all that jazz. But here, so $650, you can still get the reference model. $1,000, you can still get the reference model, and they've been in stock. Like I've actually seen it, like to the point where you can click it, add to your cart. They did it the other day. I got one of these, the 5800X. That's how I got it. Stock drops is really a solid server to be in, man. I'll show you real quick if you're not too familiar with stock drops. I'll open up my Discord here. All right, so SD. So I got my folders here. I even took it out because I was able to get a PS5 there. So right here you got RTX 3080, and I would definitely do this from my phone. But you have the product link and the track page, so you can just do the product link. They even have an add to cart one that lets you add it directly to your cart. This was B&H, so $2,100 for that. I wouldn't be doing that one. Here, see, Phantom yesterday at 3:39 p.m. So all you gotta do is click on that as fast as you can. If you're on your phone, you'll actually see an Apple Pay and add to cart button. I can't tell you 100% if the Google Pay shows up there. I think it does though. But you'll see an Apple Pay for sure, because that's how I bought mine. And you'll see an add to cart. Just hit Apple Pay, and then it will literally skip the adding to cart phase, and then ask you if you're sure, and you have to do your little face recognition, and then you bought your cart. I thought it was gonna get canceled, or I thought it wasn't gonna work, but yeah, and that's legit. And I was looking at the receipt from the 3080 that I bought from that guy back in November, and he used Apple Pay on Newegg as well. So he used the same method of just quickly hitting it, buying it, and then flipping it. All right, that's all I got in the video today, y'all. Be easy. I'll catch you in the next one. Hopefully, like I said earlier, before I was gonna let you go, I helped you make your decision. Drop any comments or questions that you have. I'll try to get to all of them. All right, deuces.